Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. Yeah, I'm back with another prediction podcast where pretty much the plan is to go through all of episode 10, all of the episode 10 fight card, go through each fight one by one, share my prediction, and talk a little bit about the fights and stuff as I usually do and stuff. So, yeah, it's hard to believe that this is the last Fight Night episode and stuff. So, yeah, the last 8 fights before we get to the top 32, and it seems like Battlebots has confirmed that the top 32 is going to be revealed at the end of this episode, but I won't lie, like, when first looking at this fight card, I've definitely got a lot of questions. And so, like, one thing that you all might be thinking of here, that I'm kind of thinking of the same thing as well, is there are several robots that are 2-0, like Rotator, Whiplash, Tantrum, Copperhead, Hypershock, Shatter, so many of them. And the only 2-0 robot we see on here is Mad Catter and Glitch and stuff. Sorry, it's 2 robots, but yeah, like those are the only undefeated robots. That kind of brings up a lot of questions here. Yeah, and so one of my co-hosts does think he figured out what happened, what's going on involving that, but I want to wait to talk about the possibility of what actually happened there until we get to the episode review podcast, because there's a chance when we get to episode 10 that that uh that BattleBots will talk about what went on during the whole thing and will prove whether like what my one of my co-hosts heard is accurate or if it's inaccurate. Because like I said, I don't want to mention any potentially misleading information or anything like that and stuff. I want to avoid that. So, oh yeah, yeah. So I have a feeling we might discuss that topic when we get to the episode 10 review and stuff. I have a feeling we probably will, but either way though, we do have guesses on what we think on why we think that is, but we're gonna wait to talk about that stuff until probably the episode review podcast for this one. So, all right. So as usual, reply down below with what your predictions are for this fight card, as I'd love to hear them as usual. Lots of you have been predicting, lots of you have been replying to these videos with your predictions, and I think almost every one of the replies I've gotten, there's been at least one battle that you've disagreed with in terms of my predictions, and that's totally fine with me. Like that's part of the reason why I love doing these prediction podcasts, because I like to share my opinions on the fight card, and then I love to hear everybody else's opinions too. It's great to hear from the BattleBots community like what everyone else thinks, because like this is the toughest competitive field so far this season, and there are bound to be at least one battle that you guys probably disagree with in terms of my predictions. So yeah, as I was talking with Pori, one of my co-hosts earlier, and yeah, he disagrees with a few of my predictions that I will be making on this one, just as an example of that and stuff, and it'll be fun. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the first fight here, where we have Bloodsport and Claw Vipers. So both of these robots currently at 1-1 right now. Bloodsport started off the season with a loss to Whiplash, and then got a dominant victory over Sub-Zero in their next fight. Claw Viper is currently 1-1 with a victory over Pardon My French, and then took a loss to Black Dragon. Yeah, and so both of these robots I think are in a pretty fine position, but I would still probably call this a win and you're in type situation here, as are all of these fights, because like I feel all of these fights have a little to a lot of like playoff contention type things. Like lots of these fights I think are a win and you're in, and a lose and you might be going home situation and stuff. And I think this fight is definitely a big example of that, because I think the winner of this fight will without a doubt be in the top 32. The losing robot I think will probably be on the bubble in this one and stuff. So right now my prediction is going to be Bloodsport for this one and stuff, because I feel this is a bad matchup for Claw Viper. What Claw Viper is going to need to do is to box rush Bloodsport right off the bat, which I think is definitely a possibility, because Claw Viper is one of the fastest robots in the field. But but like they were not able to take horizontal spinner hits very well from Gigabyte. That might also be because of the major hits they took from Black Dragon in the fight before that, but that's a growing concern I have a little bit. Like, I think if, like, while seeing Claw Viper suplex part of my French and Black Dragon was awesome, they're not going to have an opportunity to suplex Bloodsport unless if they can, box rush them, stall the spinner, and grab them before they took too many big hits and stuff. Plus, the other thing is, I feel the arena kind of favors Bloodsport a little bit, because what Claw Viper is probably going to need to do is go for the knockout and let the arena do some damage to Bloodsport and let the arena assist Claw Viper in that task and stuff. Whether that involves like ramming Bloodsport into the arena rails, or it's like flipping them onto the screws onto the shelf, even getting them out of the arena in that corner zone and stuff. I feel those are probably Claw Viper's biggest shots at winning this fight and stuff. So, but yeah, like Justin Marple's been doing a terrific job with driving Bloodsport, and Bloodsport is not a slow robot either, because like we did see them able to outrun Whiplash long enough to get the weapon up to full speed and then deliver a hit. And Whiplash is not only driven by one of the best drivers in BattleBots, but also a really fast robot too. So yeah, I don't think either of these robots are to be under or overestimated in this fight. I think this is probably going to be a good first fight. My plan is to predict Bloodsport for this one. All right, next up we got Mad Catter and Rampage, and this is a questionable matchup in my opinion and stuff. And apparently, I've heard there is a reason for this pairing and stuff. I don't know what that is. I hope to maybe have that for the episode review podcast or something like that. But either way, like, this doesn't seem like a fair matchup in my opinion and stuff. Like no offense to either teams and stuff, because yeah. So Mad Catter is currently 1-1. Like they started off with a dominant victory over Yeti, and then took a devastating loss to Sawblaze, who's been looking great so far this season. Then Rampage currently has one fight, and that was a quick loss to Retrograde and stuff. So, in terms of this fight, I really want to see Rampage do well, but I'm really got to go Mad Catter on this one. I'm sorry, Rampage, but my my reasoning is I think whoever wins the ground game is going to win this fight, and I like the fork that Mad Catter has up front. I think they'll be able to use that to get underneath Rampage, unless if they have some sort of like special configuration or something coming for this fight and stuff, which is definitely a possibility. So, yeah, my plan is to pick Mad Catter because I think they have the better ground game. I think they have the better driver as well, and I want to say better weapon as well, but I don't know for sure because we haven't seen what kind of damage that vertical spinner on Rampage can do. Because like it didn't connect even once on Retrograde in that fight. So a lot of that stuff is unknown to me and stuff. Either way, even though I do believe Mad Catter is gonna win this fight, like I hope we'll get to see a reasonable showing out of Rampage because the quality of that first fight just wasn't there. I hope it'll be better for this fight because like even though I personally don't think Rampage is gonna make the top 32, I got high hopes that robot can pull together like a victory and some other stuff for this season and do better than what they were able to do last season and stuff. Because I feel despite this being a major opponent that they're going up against, I think this matchup is not only a make or break season, but I don't mean to be mean to Rampage, but I do have concerns on whether they might get accepted for a third season of BattleBots if they're choosing to apply a third time and stuff. And I feel this fight could possibly be a make or break for that stuff. And yeah, I think that'll probably do it for that one. Let's move on to Huge and Switchback. Okay, so we got Huge on one side, who's currently got a 1-1 record with a win over Retrograde in their last fight, and then they started off with a loss to Riptide. They're up against Switchback, who is currently at a 1-1 record as well, took a loss to Gruff, and then they got a pretty solid victory over Slammo. Okay, so in terms of this one, like this one I think could be closer than what a lot of people might expect and stuff. And Spin Doctor is the one who Spin Doctor, I think Pori as well. I'm not sure which one of those two started it up, but they both have a really good point with this one that could make this one a lot closer than what a lot of people might imagine. Like Switchback, if that articulated drum spinner can get up to its tip top point and they can box rush Huge's spinner, that articulated drum spinner can hit the control area on Huge. I believe it is at the height to where it could connect on the control area, like what Whiplash was able to do last season and the season before, or where, yeah, they could bring the lift, where if they can get underneath Huge and stall the vertical spinner, they could bring the lifter and the vertical spinner up and connect onto the body of Huge. And yeah, like that stuff right there is why I think this fight could be closer than what a lot of people might expect, and we could possibly see an upset along the way. Unfortunately, though, despite them making a really good case with that, like I'm still probably gonna predict Huge for this one because like I am a bit concerned on the damage capabilities of Switchback because while it did manage to get the knockout on Slammo, it didn't do much to Gruff and stuff, and Whiplash didn't even do too much to the body of Huge and stuff, based off of my knowledge. They did take off like the back legs and took off a lot of the wheel rubber and stuff. Don't get me wrong, like they did do a lot of damage to Huge in that fight, but and then the other thing I'm concerned about is Switchback doesn't seem to be the fastest robot there. Like, can they box rush Huge before Huge gets up to full speed and does too much damage? Because I feel there is a big possibility that even if Switchback box rushes Huge, even successfully, it's possible that Jonathan Schultz could just drive away, get away long enough to get the vertical spinner up to speed and connect with Switchback again. I do want to see Switchback do well, and I'd love to see an upset in this one. I'd love to see Switchback take out a huge name like Huge, and but yeah, there are just so much too many. There's just a few other concerns that I've got that's kind of leaning me towards Huge right now. But I think this will be a good fight either way, and I will predict that this is going to be a bit closer than what a lot of people might think. All right, fight number 4, we have Kraken and Glitch. So yeah, we got another 0-2 versus 2-0 battle. Here is Kraken on one side, who has 2 losses so far to Rotator and Hijinks, and then Glitch is currently 2-0, starting off with a relatively weak victory over Ghost Raptor in my opinion, but then a, but then that upset over Hydra really threw me off and stuff, and that was great. So yeah, right now I am like last time where I predicted Lockjaw to win against Blip, even though I was wrong. I'm probably gonna go for the winless one in this situation. I think I'm gonna predict Kraken for this one. My main reason for why I'm predicting Kraken is while Glitch definitely has the more effective weapon, I think there's no doubt about that. I still have concerns about Glitch's drive and stuff because like it definitely looked a lot better in the Hydra fight, but it definitely looked a lot better in the Hydra fight. But there were a few moments where they did seem to be having drive issues, including the one time where they did have where they were high centered temporarily, which was right before the chaos really got going in that fight with Hydra and stuff on their end. So yeah, I kind of like the reliability of Kraken in this one. I feel that's a big advantage they have in this fight, but I don't know what to expect here and stuff. Like I could definitely see Glitch pulling this one off. I personally think this is gonna be a close one. I could see this one going either way. I could see Glitch getting the 3-0 record they're hoping for and getting the one of the big Cinderella stories of the regular season, because I think them and Blip are definitely in great contention for that and so on. So yeah. So, oh yeah, I like Glitch on the damage aspect, but like the drive and the reliability and stuff, I kind of like Kraken a little more on that one, but who knows? This one could go either way. I think this is going to be a good fight. I think this is going to be a close one and stuff, and hopefully we'll see Kraken and get a victory and stuff, especially after that stunning season they had last season and stuff, and but I would also love to see Glitch go 3-0 as well, because I love of Glitch's design here. Gotta love Omni Wheels with a vertical spinner this time too, who is previously we've seen Shatter, her who is still Omni Wheeled robot with a hammer and stuff, and it's really cool seeing Omni Wheels with a spinner and stuff, and yeah, this is neat stuff that Glitch pulled to the table here, and that vertical spinner has proven to be able to do some serious damage. So yeah, I think this will be a good match, and let's go ahead and move on to Mammoth and Lucky. And so this one is probably one of the biggest winning your in fights on this fight card, in my opinion, because I personally predict whoever wins this fight will get into the top 32. I unfortunately think the losing robot of this one will not make the top 32 and stuff. Like, I would love to see both of these robots get in. There's no doubt about that I believe that, because both of these robots, they're such awesome designs, and the entertainment they bring would be great to see in the top 32. But yeah, with a lot of the resumes that have been provided so far this season, I would predict only the winner is gonna get in. So right now, Mammoth is currently at a 1-1 record. Started off with a win over Hijinks, but then took a loss by a judge's decision, a double KO with Tombstone. Lucky started off the season with a loss to Tantrum, and then got a victory over Blade. So yeah, I'm gonna predict Lucky for this one and stuff, because one thing that is for sure, that new driver on Lucky, RC car, one of the best RC car drivers in the world, like that guy has been doing a terrific job driving for Lucky so far. Like, I don't want to overcredit him or anything like that, but man, that driving job in the start of the Tantrum fight and in the victory against Blade, that was outstanding. And I feel he could definitely pull this one off too. Either way, though, I think this fight is going to go to the judges and stuff. I think this is going to be a 3-minute fight. I think out of all the fights here, I think I'd predict this one to go to the judges if just one of these went the full 3 minutes. But there are two others that I would also be eyeing as potential fights that I think will go to the judges. So, but right now, I'm predicting Lucky by knockout. I think this is a driving match between Ricky Williams and Lucky's new driver. Both of them are great drivers and stuff. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying Ricky is a bad driver, because that is not true. Ricky has done a terrific job with not exposing a lot of Mammoth's big weaknesses and stuff, because like that's pretty much like how Mammoth's been able to win several of these fights, along with its just really unique and hard to fight design and stuff. So either way, I'm predicting this is gonna be a 3-minute driving match between these two. I think I like Lucky in this one, but I could definitely see Mammoth pulling it off. All right, let's move on to Witch Doctor and Rusty. Okay, so Rusty, my King of Draft pick, heck, my last King of Draft fantasy pick and stuff. Currently off to a 0-1 start, starting the season with a loss to Blip, and then Witch Doctor is currently 1-1 with a relatively solid victory over Duck, and then a relatively solid loss to Endgame. Because I will admit they gave Endgame a big run for their money in that fight, and I give Witch Doctor a lot of credit for that. Okay, so right now my plan is to predict Witch Doctor for this one and stuff. I'm not planning to go big like what I did with Rusty's last fight where I predicted Rusty to beat Blip and stuff. I think I'm gonna say this. If Witch Doctor can't beat Rusty, don't put Witch Doctor into the bracket selection committee and stuff. Like, I think it's too bad that we weren't able to see Rusty's new design for this season due to both sponsorship and part issues, and that I hear the new design was a little bit overweight, and there's a lot more to it and stuff. Like don't listen to just what I've just been saying, but I give Dave Eaton a lot of credit for getting Rusty into the arena, and even if it's like even if it's last season's version of it. But yeah, I think Witch Doctor is going to take this one in a knockout, probably. He and stuff. I'd probably say this is probably going to be a relatively quick KO. Oh, and yeah, I wish I want to pick Rusty for this one because like I love Rusty, including congrats to Rusty for getting a Hex bug as well, as I think that's pretty neat. The design that Hex bug is coming out with for Rusty and stuff, but I think Rusty's really gonna struggle in a fight like this. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna go to the YouTube exclusive fight, then we're gonna end it with the main event, where we got Blade and Dragon Slayer, two newcomers. Blade is currently at a 0-2 record with losses to Scorpios and then a loss to Lucky. Dragon Slayer is currently 1-1 with a victory over Duck and then took a loss to Minotaur. Okay, so this one I think is a difficult one to call, in my opinion, because I feel both of these two showed some serious have been showing some big gremlins in their past two fights and stuff. Because like Blade, yeah, their weapon broke not too long into the fight with Lucky, but it sounds like based off of what Blade said, that bar they used in the Lucky fight was extremely brittle, which yeah would explain why that weapon broke so quickly into that fight and stuff, and including Blade seemed to have issues with the drive as well. But then Dragon Slayer, on the other hand, the drive has worked great for them. But then the weapon, while it did work for the full 3 minutes in the Duck fight, and then it died relatively early in the Minotaur fight, which is too bad. I hope Dragon Slayer did get that sorted out and stuff, including Dragon Slayer's weapon seems to still spin up a bit slowly and stuff, and some of those are some concerns for me. So right now I'm predicting Blade, because if I'm assuming both of these robots are like at 100% for this fight, like the weapon's working, the drive is working and stuff, uh, I feel Blade would win a weapon on weapon exchange in my opinion and stuff. And while I do believe Dragon Slayer's drive is the more reliable bit of it, and as well, they probably have a bit more push power because the other thing we don't know is that backside on Blade. It's kind of sloped up to make me wonder, if they like lose the horizontal spinner, could they potentially use that for like extra push power or something like that and stuff? If you kind of get what I'm talking about by that. But yeah, I'm not sure about this one. My plan is to predict Blade for this, but I feel this one could go either way and stuff, but yeah, I think this is a make or break fight for Dragon Slayer. I think if Dragon Slayer wins, I think they're in the top 32. I think even if Blade wins this, I probably would not accept Blade in the top 32, but it'd be awesome to see Blade get a victory because they're one of the newcomers I was most looking forward to because of lots of their King of Bots history and stuff. So yeah, this should be interesting. Let's go ahead and get on to the main event where we have Fusion and Ice Wave. Both of these robots currently sitting at a 1-1 record. Fusion started off with a victory over Cobalt and then took a loss to Copperhead. Ice Wave started out with a loss to Black Dragon and then got a victory over Deadlift. I think this is a harder one to call than what a lot of people might think. Because on one hand, Fusion could go with the vertical spinner and flip Ice Wave over with that. But then the vertical spinner never spun up in the Copperhead fight. It looked like it was slowly spinning up, but then we saw it fall once again near the end of that fight at Copperhead, and that kind of makes me wonder, like, did Reese figure out what the issue was? Is there that caused the vertical spinner to fall and stuff. And I think right now, I think if Fusion is at 100% in this fight, I think that Fusion will take this one, and that's going to be my prediction for this one. But I think if Fusion is not at 100% on this one, like if one of their weapons isn't working since the beginning of the fight, or if Fusion speed controllers go up, because their fight with Copperhead was delayed because the first time that they did put those in the arena, Fusion speed controllers went off or the right before the starting bell, and they delayed the fight because of that and stuff. But what I will admit is Ice Wave, like, it's one of its biggest vulnerability is being flipped over. But if you notice, nobody's succeeded at that ever since Ghost Raptor was able to do it in 2015 and stuff. If Ice Wave's weapon is going at full speed and stuff, Fusion, I think, is going to have a really hard time flipping Ice Wave. Yes, I do think it's possible, but I do think it's going to be difficult, especially with also the fact that Fusion isn't exactly the fastest robot as well. So I think this is going to be a close fight. I think this is going to be an all-out brawl. I think whoever breaks first between these two robots is going to be the one coming out with the loss. But yeah, my prediction is going to be Fusion for this one. I definitely can see why people are going to predict Ice Wave for this one, because I believe this will be a close battle, and I think whoever wins this fight will get into the top 32. I think whoever loses this fight is kind of on the bubble for me, because, like, both of these two robots have had some reasonable showings so far this season, and I could definitely see them both sneaking into the top 32 at a 1-2 record. So, of course, that also depends on how this fight goes, too. So, yeah, I think that probably about covers it. Let's go ahead and review my predictions. All right, here are my predictions where I'm planning to go Bloodsport, Mad Catter, Huge, Kraken, Lucky, Witch Doctor, Fusion, and Blade. Several of these fights were very difficult to call and stuff, because lots of these fights I think could go either way, and then there are others that I think will be a lot closer than what a lot of people might think. So, yeah, there you go. Be sure to reply down below with what your predictions are. I would love to hear them once again and stuff, and it's great to hear from other fans what their opinions are and stuff. It's one of the reasons why I do lots of these podcasts, both to share my opinions on the fight card and hear from other fans what they have on this one and stuff. So, yeah, thank you for watching this podcast. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and then check out the episode review podcast I plan to do. I plan to complete on this episode the weekend after the episode ends. The questionnaire podcast will be coming out soon. The plan is to have that one out a little bit later into the week. So, yeah, be sure to tune in when I post that and stuff, especially if you were one of the people that did ask a question on that one. It was a lot of fun to do, and I think the co-host had some fun doing it as well. And yeah, thanks for checking this out. I'll hope to see you for the next podcast.